Hello there, everyone. How are you all doing? My name is Dan, and I'm back with a pre trade deadline and post All Star break check in on every single team. During the preseason, I made my predictions on how I thought teams were going to do and how they were going to perform, and if they were going to make the playoffs or not. And this is me going back and looking at what I thought of every single team and comparing it to how they are now. And then, with the second half coming up or having started by this point, see if they're going to end up buying or selling by the deadline or just staying put and if they're going to make the playoffs. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. So, the first team to check in on is the Tampa Bay Rays. Now, if I'm correct, I believe that in the preseason, I thought Tampa Bay was just going to be all right. I thought they would be around a 500 team, which for points in the season seemed to be a good assumption. Uh, but obviously now looking back at it at this point in time, they had an extremely hot May. Their April was kind of mediocre, but their May, I mean, as you can see here, they rattled off, I believe that's about 7 straight wins to start May, and they went 10 of their last, or maybe, yeah, it was like 10 of their last 11 going into May, and then that just really skyrocketed them. Uh, at one point, I believe they were fourth in the division. I know that was really early in the year, but to me at the time, that wasn't a surprise, but now looking back at it, they've been really good. In terms of why they've been this good, the real simple reason is that the AL in general this year has not been very strong. I know it's stupid to be basing it off this, but if you look at their average, like their win loss ratio based off of how they played as a team, they're around 500. But if you look at their record, they're 14 games over. Um, and I think a big part of that is just because of how weak the AL this year is, and the Rays have capitalized on that a lot. And I think a large part of why they've been this good this year is because they've been a great all around team. Junior Caminero has looked incredible so far this year. If you look at his stats, I think 4 games out of the All Star break, he has 29 home runs this season, 3.8 WAR, 60 RBIs, and he's been 50% better than league average this year, which, I mean, could have told you this, and I probably did from the start of the season. Junior Caminero is one of my favorite up and coming players in baseball. He's just a good player all around. Hits absolute dingers, and in Tropicana this year, that's pretty impressive because Tropicana is not traditionally known as a baseball park or a home run park. But Junior Caminero, great. Uh, he's been really good. I believe at one point he had a stretch where he hit about 7 home runs in 8 games, leading into the break, which was just absolutely absurd. So he started off relatively cold and had an insane June. So good for him. Other important players are that of Jonathan Aranda. Aranda has been really good this season. He's been a good all-around player, as you can see. 64 RBIs, 14 home runs. Not insane pop, but when he hits the ball, he's going to probably score a run or two. And he has insane batting average, too. He's been really good at the plate this year. In terms of hitting and drawing walks, he's been great all around. Chandler Simpson has also been a bit of a standout this year in terms of his batting average. He's had a great batting average and also leads the team in stolen bases, which I'm sure many people are not surprised by. And Yandy Diaz has been great as well. He's hit 13 homers, 56 RBIs. Great all-around player this year. I'm happy that he made the All-Star team. He definitely deserved that, although I also believe Aranda probably deserved that as well. And their rotation has been pretty solid too. Drew Rasmussen has been great. It's been great seeing Shane McClanahan come back and be healthy for a prolonged period of time. There's about a 3-year stretch there where I just wasn't sure if he was ever going to be healthy enough to make a run during even just the regular season. But he's been healthy enough to make a good run here. And Nick Martinez, I feel like, has been the big standout this year. Former reliever turned All-Star, I believe he made his first All-Star team this year. He was great this year. So far, 2.65 ERA through about 105 innings. With the solid, not a crazy amount of strikeouts, but I mean, I guess it'll do the trick. But for being a 35-year-old, it's been a big breakout season for him. And you get him at a point where he's coming in and he's competing at a high level, and you can appreciate that because anytime a veteran is able to do that, it's always a good sign for a team, and it's kind of, an epitome of the team that year. And so Nick Martinez has kind of been like the symbol of Rays baseball this year, coming back up and having a above average season and being good again, But as you can see here, Nick Martinez had a good stretch with Cincy about 2 years ago, but was just okay last year. Nothing insane, but comes back this year and finally gets first All-Star bid. So good for Nick Martinez. And Tampa Bay, I mean, they've been really good. Rumor on the street is that they're going to be big buyers at the deadline this year, which, knowing the Rays' history, I don't know if I fully believe that. Especially recently, they're not really known for buying at the deadline, but I would love to see it happen. And I think they'll probably be the best team in the AL this year if they keep on their pace. So good for the Tampa Bay Rays. Next team up is the New York Yankees. Now, the New York Yankees, to no surprise, are 11 games over 500. They've had a pretty solid year so far. I thought they were going to be kind of the runaway favorites in the AL this year, outside of Seattle and maybe Toronto. I had them as probably the third best chance. And I mean, I guess you can say they've lived up to that expectation. But in a lot of ways, they kind of haven't either, which is really weird. As you can see from their average, runs allowed and runs scored, they should be a lot better than they are right now. They should actually have a very similar record to Tampa right now. But I mean, obviously, some of that just has not translated. And I feel like that's kind of been, the story of their year so far. In a year where they started out, I believe, it was 8-2. They just haven't really gotten a chance to put it all together yet. And it's very interesting to see that because it seemed like they were going to be the runaway favorites in the AL, especially with Toronto and Seattle stumbling out of the start as much as they did. So to see them not be in first place, especially in their own division, is a little strange. But I mean, they're doing really good. So some key standouts. Obviously, you have two key breakout players this year. You have Cam Schlittler, who looks like he's going to be the AL Cy Young at this point in the year as of July 20th. He's been absolutely insane this season. He's thrown 123 innings, 21 starts, and a 2.20 ERA, which, despite that win-loss record, which I know a lot of people don't really care about that much anymore, but in spite of that win-loss record, he's been really good this season. Got his first All-Star bid, and I mean, he's been incredible this year. Outside of two blow-up starts towards the second half, or the end of the first half, he's been incredible this year, and I'm sure as a Yankee fan, you can't really ask for much better. The other story for this season... The other story for the season so far has been that of Ben Rice. Ben Rice has broken out in a big way this season, having 29 home runs, 281 average, and 68 RBIs. He's been the offensive backbone this year for this lineup. I don't personally know if it's sustainable, but I mean, I'm really happy for Ben Rice. He's had a great year so far, and I hope he keeps it up. Overall, you know, walks have been solid for mostly a home run hitter and a contact guy. Strikeouts are a little high, but you can live with that, especially with the production he's giving you. And especially in comparison to how Aaron Judge has been this year. Obviously, it's to no fault of his own, but he has been very injured this year. When he was playing, he was good, but he didn't seem to be at full MVP caliber, which was a little strange. I mean, you're allowed to start off slow, but I mean, he hasn't played a game in about a month and a half, almost 2 months now. And so you have to think, obviously, his MVP chances are probably gone. But as well as that, he has just been really banged up this year. I mean, even if he does come back and puts up big numbers, which I hope he does as a fan of baseball, because it's always fun to see Aaron Judge play baseball. But, I mean, maybe the Yankees can make a run towards the end of the year. Maybe they can usurp that first place spot. Maybe they can make a run in the playoffs. Who knows? Especially with the AL being as wide open as it is this year. But yeah, I mean, for the sake of baseball, I hope Aaron Judge comes back. I hope he has a good season. And yeah, I mean, the Yankees this year, they've been really good. Other names to shout out, Cody Bellinger. Max Fried when he's been healthy. Just a solid all-around team. Garrett Cole is back to pitching this year. Some guys I wasn't expecting to struggle as much as they have been. Jazz Chisholm. I know there were signs of it last season where he had, needless to say, prolonged stretches of not being able to produce, especially in terms of hitting. But this year has been a relatively atrocious year for him. Only 224 average, 14 home runs, 38 RBIs, 705 OPS. Just not going to cut it. Especially for a guy who, unless I'm forgetting, I believe is a pending free agent this year. Unless he was signed on some kind of extension that I don't remember. I believe he is a pending free agent. And so you definitely don't want this kind of season for him. Especially if you're a Yankees fan. But all in all, Yankees this year, very solid. Definitely the second best team in the AL this season. But I feel like that's not really saying a lot. So, yeah, take that as you will. Is the Boston Red Sox. Now, the Boston Red Sox, if you told me about 2 weeks ago that they would have been charging into the last place wildcard spot, I would have told you that you were insane. But this team went from being probably about 10 to 15 games under 500 in early June, all the way to being 2 games above 500 coming out of the All-Star break. And that's just kind of a testament to the type of fight this team has. They've been able to challenge great adversity this season. And I feel like a lot of that has to go to Wilson Contreras mainly. And Wilyer Abreu. And Cedeno as well. Those three have really led the charge this year, I feel like, for the Red Sox. Sonny Gray, probably one of the worst all-star snubs this year. Sonny Gray has just been a complete workhorse for them down the entire first half of the season. Same with Ranger Suarez, although he is on the IL. And Connor Early as well. And Peyton Tully have been great as well. Season is just very up and down for the Red Sox, but it seems like they're on pace to keep winning. As of right now, they're on a 13-game win streak as of yesterday. So, for all the Red Sox fans out there, I would be very proud of the fact that you're above 500 right now. I think it's nothing short of a miracle. But good for the Red Sox. I hope they have a good rest of their season. And in terms of where I think they'll be at the deadline, I I think they're going to be buyers. Um, if you asked me about 2 weeks ago, I would have told you they 100% would have been sellers. Uh, but I think at this point in the season, they're definitely going to be buyers. And depending on how they go down the next 2 weeks or so, they definitely will remain to be buyers. Especially again in an AL that's as weak as it is. So good for the Boston Red Sox. Be proud of your team. And frankly, I kind of hope this miracle run keeps going. Next up is the Baltimore Orioles. Now, the Baltimore Orioles have had a very strange season, to say the least. At some points in the season, they looked completely dead in the water. And then, just like the Red Sox, they've kind of recouped themselves and they've come from about 10 games under all the way to about 2 games under, which good for them. Their main weakness this year has obviously been pitching. I feel like if you think it's anything else than pitching, I don't really know what else to tell you. Main players for this team this year, surprisingly, Taylor Ward leads in WAR, even though he hasn't had a particularly good season. But I feel like the big standouts that you have this season are Adley Rutschman bouncing back, which has been incredible for the team, and honestly, just for baseball. I know he hasn't been fully all the way back up to his standards that he had prior to his falling off, but Adley Rutschman having a great season is definitely revitalizing this Orioles team. Brandon Young, my apologies, has been their lead pitcher this year. He's pitched 91 innings with a 3.25 ERA. He's been really good in the stead of a lot of the other pitchers that have come down with injuries or have mightily regressed from last season. So Brandon Young has had a great year so far. Other names to take note of: Pete Alonso, recent free agent acquisition as of last offseason, has had a great year so far. I believe he's hit about 20 home runs, 66 RBIs, 246 average. It's about on par with his 2024 season. But when you have a lineup like the Orioles have had this year, you kind of got to take it where you can get it. I feel like the main disappointment this year, in all honesty, has been Gunnar Henderson. Gunnar has been nowhere near healthy this season and has struggled a lot when he has played. I feel like he's just in his head a lot. As you can see, he has 17 home runs, 44 RBIs, but that batting average is way down. So is the OPS, and the strikeouts are way up and the walks are way down. And I feel like that's just kind of a testament to how he's been since 2024, when he finished, I believe, third in MVP voting. That's just kind of how it's been for him. Samuel Basallo has been a great young piece that they called up towards I believe he made it out of camp. But he's been great for them. The DH spot, 16 home runs, 46 RBIs, 241 average. Just a great all-around player. Jackson Holliday has had some stints where he's been on the IL, but he's been, I guess, mediocre. Even leaning towards bad when he's played. Blaze Alexander has had a very promising year so far. And in terms of the pitching side, you have Shane Baz, who's been the main innings eater for this team so far. Hasn't had a particularly great season, but you take it where you can get it. And Kyle Bradish has had a great season as well. First time he's been healthy, and actually he just got signed to an 8-year extension the other day. So good for Kyle Bradish. And Trevor Rogers has had a very disappointing season in terms of his production last year. But overall, if you look at it from a top-down perspective, it hasn't been horrible, and he's definitely started to turn around. Bullpen has been a little weak. Ryan Helsley definitely has not panned out the way they wanted it to. Yennier Cano's been solid, I guess. But, hasn't necessarily been the healthiest. So, I mean, with this team, you just kind of take it as you can go. But Orioles, all in all, I feel like they'll both be sellers and buyers probably at the deadline. I wouldn't be shocked if they sell off pieces like Taylor Ward to another team. But I also wouldn't be surprised if they try and sell some of their younger pieces that just don't have any room and try and get some guys with team control. So we'll kind of see how Baltimore plays out, but I think they're kind of exactly where they should be in this division and in the AL in general. So, yeah. Next team up is the Toronto Blue Jays. Now, they've had a very disappointing year so far this year. They've just struggled mightily. I believe the World Series kind of broke them fundamentally as a core this year. And, I mean, you can't really blame them losing how they did in the World Series last year. Definitely, I thought they were going to bounce back, and I thought they were going to run through the AL, but clearly that has not been the case. Team just overall hasn't been very consistent. The only consistent pieces this year have been Okamoto, Louis Varland, Dylan Cease, and Ernie Clement. Outside of that, everybody else has kind of just been okay. Trey Yusevich has been fine. Glausman's been fine. Vladdy has been really disappointing this year. Dalton Varsho as well. Just overall, really disappointing year this year, especially on the offensive side for this team. But, other pieces are coming up that you can take note of, like Brandon Valenzuela, who has had a solid season so far for the Blue Jays. But outside of that, team is just not great. There's not really anywhere else that they can go necessarily. If anything, they'll probably just end up selling off bullpen pieces at the deadline. Just to, stave off some money, get some prospects back. But all in all, I thought the Blue Jays were going to be a lot better than they were. And they just have not. So, really disappointing season from the Blue Jays. Probably going to sell at the deadline. And their season's kind of just been... Their season has just kind of been a story of a hangover so far. Next team up is the Chicago White Sox. Now, the Chicago White Sox this year have been incredible in terms of where I thought they were going to be as a team this year. I really like this team going into this year. I thought that in terms of young pieces, there was a lot of room for improvement, and I'm happy to know that I was right. This team has kind of showed everybody out and shut everybody up in terms of their performance, mostly through their 3 guys making the All-Star team. Which is a big improvement for them as a team. You have pieces like Miguel Vargas, Talon Peters, Colson Montgomery, Munetaka Murakami, Kyle Teal, Sean Burke has been great, Davis Martin has been great, Chase Mydroth, great, Brian Hudson, great. Just a great all-around team in comparison to last year. Braden Montgomery came up, and he hasn't been incredible. All in all, just a really good team this year. Obviously, still a lot of room for improvement, and, you got to prove this consistency next season as well. But right now, I believe they're in the lead for the AL Central in terms of, they are. They're first place in the AL Central, which is a lot better than I feel like most people would have thought this team to be. So good for the Chicago White Sox, and White Sox fans should be very, very proud of what their team has been able to do this season. Next team up is the Cleveland Guardians. The Cleveland Guardians have just had a very Cleveland Guardian year. They've been very mediocre, and I'm sure I'm going to eat my words at some point in August because they're going to go on a big run, take the division like they did from the Tigers last year, and end up making the postseason. But I feel like this year, they're just okay. They'll make the postseason probably, but the team has not been very good, especially on offense. Their pitching has been great, but offensively, if Austin Hedges is your best player in the past month and a half, you have a lot of issues as a team. Parker Messick, probably a Rookie of the Year candidate right now. He's been really great on the pitching side this season. I don't know if personally he'll keep it up. But Parker Messick has been great. Brian Rocchio has been really good this season. Jose Ramirez, when he's played, has been really good. Well, not really good. He's been okay. He's definitely struggled to start the year. Stephen Kwan has been abysmal. Outside of defense, obviously, he has not had a great season at all. Kyle Manzardo has been a big disappointment coming off of last year. The main guys you're definitely looking for, though, are that of Travis Pisana and that of Chase DeLauder. Both have been really good this season so far, and both definitely seem to be shining. It just seems like Cleveland's kind of stuck in a perpetual cycle where all their young guys break out and then they start to slump, and then they just kind of don't break out of that slump. Like, I feel like it's every year we have a new Cleveland Guardian that gets called up in the middle of the season and he's really good, and then the next season he struggles a lot and then just kind of stays course for the rest of his career, at least as a Cleveland Guardian. So I really hope that doesn't happen. But, I mean, stuff happens. But their pitching obviously has been really good. Got nothing to complain about there. Tanner Bybee, good. Parker Messick, I already talked about. Cade Smith has been great. Slade Cecconi's been good. Matt Festa, Gaddis, Sean Armstrong. Just a really good bullpen, really good pitching staff. Just not a great hitting team. So I guess we'll kind of have to see where they go from here. I'd imagine they buy. But usually by buying, that means probably buying for a bullpen arm. Because I feel like that's what they've done for about 2 years now. So I guess we'll just have to see how the Cleveland Guardians play. Next up is the Minnesota Twins. Now, the Minnesota Twins have had a very good season in terms of how I thought they were going to perform as a team this year. I thought they were going to be really bad this year. I thought their main two pieces were really just going to be Joe Ryan and Byron Buxton, and that was kind of going to be it. And to some degree, I've been correct. I mean, Byron Buxton has been great this year. Joe Ryan has also been great. But there's been other players that have stood out from the pack so far. And especially with how they played going into the All-Star break, I imagine they won't sell, which is kind of interesting. I imagine they'll probably stay put just to see what happens. Or if they do sell, it'll just be a player or two. But Taj Bradley has finally had his breakout season in the bigs. I feel like I've been waiting on that for about 2-3 years now. Cody Clemens has been great. Ryan Jeffers, I was going to say, has been great. Austin Martin, Bailey Ober. All these guys have been pretty solid this year in terms of their expectations. Pitching staff definitely has a lot of work to do. And definitely you probably want to start flooding that thing with prospects as soon as possible. But all in all, good team. Better than I thought they were going to be. Probably still sellers if I were to place a bet on it. But yeah, I mean, they're performing all right in terms of their expectations. So good for Minnesota. Next up is the Detroit Tigers. They've been really disappointing this season. At one point, I believe in mid-June, they looked completely dead in the water. 22-38 going into June, just really not good. But they've been good during the month of June, and they've started out July fine. They're 46-53, and I really just don't see realistically how they make the playoffs. Being last year's kind of breakout team in the AL Central, and knowing how they finished out their season, it's been really disappointing. Obviously, you bring in guys like Framber Valdez to kind of beef up the team, but that really hasn't worked for them at all. So, you really just got Kevin McGonigal. He's been incredible this season. Probably the leading Rookie of the Year favorite. So good for Kevin McGonigal. Kieter Montero has been great. Dylan Dingler's been great. Casey Mize broke out. And Scooble's been good when he's been healthy. But he struggled a little bit with health this season. Overall, though, kind of the rest of the team has just been okay. Riley Green's been fine. Glaber's been fine. Finnegan's been really good out of the pen. And Framber's been fine. But outside of them, Nobody's really performed in a high way this season. It's just kind of been a season of disappointment for the Tigers on both the hitting and the pitching side. More so the hitting side, though. The pitching has been okay, but the hitting definitely has not. So, if I were to guess, they probably sell at the deadline. I don't think Skubal will be a Tiger after the trade deadline this year. And, I mean, I guess we'll just have to see how that plays out, because I know they've been back and forth on terms of the rumors on that. I know that they've said he's wants to stay there, or he wants to get traded, or the Tigers have wanted to get him on an extension, or they're looking to completely blow it up and they want to get some kind of prospect back for him. It's been a whirlpool of rumors for a while now. But I guess the only way we'll find out is at the deadline. Next is the Kansas City Royals. Now, the Kansas City Royals have had a pretty disappointing year so far. They just really haven't lived up to their expectations so far this season. I thought they were going to be a lot better than they were, and they just haven't. And realistically, that's just because they're kind of just underwhelming. You look at, especially their pitching and their hitting, just a lot of guys that just have underperformed in comparison to last year. Jonathan India being out for an entire season definitely hurts them a lot. Bobby Witt kind of hasn't been the same player since 2024. He's been okay, and he's been still pretty solid. I mean, if you look at his WAR defensively, he's been insane, and base path-wise, he's been insane. But in terms of his offense, he really just hasn't been the same player, which I feel like is kind of a microcosm for how this team has been this season. Carter Jensen started off really good and just hasn't been that good since. Vinny Pasquantino has not had a good season whatsoever. Michael Massey, just not good. If you have to give Michael Massey starting second base minutes, I feel like that kind of tells everything that you have to. Jack Caglione has had a great season, and I feel like he's going to be a big piece of this team moving forward. But Royals definitely going to sell at the deadline. Overall, offense is just not the same that it was last year. And all their free agency pickups have not worked out well for them. In terms of the pitching side, Michael Wacha has been good, and Seth Lugo has been okay. But I guarantee you both those pieces will be gone by the trade deadline, just because this team has nothing to play for at this point. Matt Strahm has been horrible for them. It was a really bad trade for them. Just did not pay off in the slightest. Anybody in that pen outside of Daniel Lynch is pretty much just not worth a damn. So this team is just kind of in an unfortunate spot. They have no choice but to really sell, and they might have to do a rebuild after doing a rebuild for about 4 or 5 years. So I'm sorry, Kansas City fans, but I mean, it's not looking really good for the outlook on this team. Next up, we have the Texas Rangers. The Texas Rangers are currently in first place in the AL West, which is definitely a shock if you really want to think about it. They shouldn't be this good, and they probably aren't this good, and I don't mean that in any offense to any Texas Rangers fans. They're just not the type of team that I thought was going to be first. I think I had them maybe third or fourth in the division this year. Just not been a good year all around for the AL. And, I mean, Texas is kind of capitalized. I mean, you look at their team. Their main guys this year have been DeGrom, Nimmo, Duran, Langford, and Josh Young. Jacob Latz obviously was their lone all-star, though, this year. He's been incredible out of the bullpen. Seager really hasn't even played this year. If you really want to think about it, it's kind of just been the Josh Young, Jake Burger, Brandon Nimmo show, pretty much. So this team is probably not built for the postseason. Definitely interesting that they're even contending in the first place. And, I mean, you just got to respect that they've been this good in the first place. Pitching wise, they've been pretty solid this year. I feel like it's been nothing overly crazy. Nathan Eovaldi's been okay. Mackenzie Gore has not been the trade that they wanted him to be. When they traded for Mackenzie Gore, I was under the impression that he was going to be the next best starter for this team, and he was going to kind of quote unquote lead the future, even though he is 27. But it just has not been a good season for him. DeGrom, although missed a few starts, has been really good this season. Hopefully he gets his ERA down a little bit, but overall in terms of production, again, it's just happy to see, it's nice to see Jacob DeGrom pitch again. And they're two young guys, and Kumar and Jack just haven't been incredible. You really were hoping for a bigger jump out of them, especially with them kind of graduating from prospects to, okay, you guys need to be productive now. Jack Leiter just has not been able to do that. Kumar has done it in flashes, but just hasn't been consistent. Their bullpen, though, is really where they're really going to get you. Jacob Latz, Tyler Alexander, and Jacob Junis are all really good pen arms. Cal Quantrill has been really good in replacement starters / long relief minutes or innings. Peyton Gray's been all right. Overall, team has been just okay. There's not really much else you can really say about the Texas Rangers. It's a surprise they're in first place to begin with. But I mean, hey, good on them for capitalizing on a very, very weak AL Central this year. Or AL West, I mean. Next up is the Seattle Mariners. Now, the Seattle Mariners, I feel like, have been the second biggest disappointment to come out of the AL this year. They just haven't been able to hit. It's been really that simple. I mean, if you look at their team, the most amount of home runs on the team is Cole Young. Or my mistake. It's Dominic Canzone or Luke Raley with 15 apiece, which, in comparison to how they were hitting last year, just isn't good. Cole Young has been their best overall player this season, and that's probably not a good thing. Cal Raleigh has been a shell of himself this year. I feel like going into the year, everybody kind of knew it was hard to repeat that kind of thing that he did last season, hitting 60 home runs, breaking the home run catching record, or the home run record at the catching position. It's just hard to sustain that type of thing, and I think everybody knew that. But I don't think anybody was expecting him to fall off this badly. Josh Naylor's had a horrible season so far. J.P. Crawford, not been great. Randy hasn't been overly fantastic either, at least on the offensive side. Julio's been okay when he's played, but he hasn't played a ton this season. And when he has played, he hasn't looked up to his standards as of last year. So, I mean, I guess you kind of live with what you can get with him. The pitching staff is where this team really dominates, but even that's been a little shaky this year. Logan Gilbert has led the way far and away for this team. Brian Wu came way back down to earth from last season. George Kirby's been okay. Emerson Hancock's been alright. Luis Castillo has probably fallen completely out of the rotation, and I even heard that they're trying to sell him at the deadline where they can. Bryce Miller has taken his spot, and kind of a breakout year for him. 63 innings with a 2.27 ERA, and some very, very, very impressive starts. The bullpen hasn't been overly great. Andres Munoz, 3.96 ERA, and just 17 saves. Not really going to cut it. Jose Ferrer has been all right. Edward Buzardo has been fine too, and Gabe Spire's been all right too. All in all, just really disappointing team this year. Not really much else you can say for the Seattle Mariners, except for I'd imagine they buy at the deadline. Just in blind hope that the spark they found last year is not the end. But I mean, I guess time will only tell. Next up is the Houston Astros. The Houston Astros have had a very up and down season so far. At certain points in the season, they looked completely dead in the water, 16-27. At the start of the season, they were even worse. They were 8-15. But as you can see in July and June, they started to climb their way back in. They're not necessarily the best team in the AL. But when you're led by a guy like Yordan Alvarez, you're going to have about a 500 record. He's been incredible this season. Peter Lampert has had a very good season this year. I believe he's been a starter for them, and he's at a 3.03 ERA and has really taken over for Hunter Brown, who's had a lot of injury issues this year. Just another reason why the Rockies are kind of the pitching farm for other teams in this league, because they just kind of are. Pitchers never succeed in Colorado, but they'll always succeed somewhere else. And that's true for Peter Lampert. Paredes has been all right. Jeremy Pena, when he's played, has been good. Christian Walker's had a very good season. Much, much better than last year. Steven Okert, Correa, when he's played, has been okay, but I believe he's out for the rest of the season, so you won't be seeing him again. Hader's had another bounce back year. Aaron Getty's been all right. All in all, the team is just okay. Altuve's had a big fall off, which is really sad to see, because Altuve's really good, but it seems like he's starting to reach the twilight of his career. In terms of pitching, Mike Burrows has not been great. Tetsuya Mai has not been a great pickup, and Hunter Brown has barely played. So just really disappointing season all around from the Astros, especially if you thought they were going to make the playoffs. I didn't think they were, and I actually thought they were going to be much worse than this, so I guess credit to them. But yeah, Houston is just not going to be a good team. Probably sell at the deadline. They really need to revitalize that. They really need to revitalize their farm system. So if I were them, I would definitely sell at the deadline. Is the Sacramento Athletics. The Sacramento Athletics have had a very up and down season. At one point this season, they actually led the division. They were 27-26 in late May, and they actually were first place in the division. Now they've plummeted all the way down to 42-57, and a large part of that is due to the almost 10-game losing streak they went on going into the All-Star break. The team, hitting-wise, is extremely talented. Nick Kurtz has been really good. Shea Langoliers has been really good. Tyler Soderstrom, Zach Geloff with the breakout year. Just really good on the offensive side. And, what's his name? Brent Rooker out for the rest of the season. Really wasn't doing that well beforehand, but, you'd like to have him when you can. And Jonah Heim came in and has been really productive for them on the offensive side, actually, which is really good for them. And, Jacob Wilson, when he's played, has been solid, but he hasn't been overly healthy. So, it's just about getting guys in there when you can. But pitching-wise is the issue with this roster. JT Ginn is the only good player on this team. In terms of pitching, everybody else is kind of a bum. It's really that simple. Even if you look at the WAR discretions here, it's really not even all that close. Look at how many of these pitchers are in the negative WARs, dude. You even have some of your top-of-the-line starters in here, like Jacob Lopez, or top relievers like Scott Barlow, Jeffrey Springs. It's just not been a great year in terms of pitching. Severino, when he's pitched, has been fine, but all in all, the team is just really not all that good, especially on the pitching side. But I'd expect them to sell, but I feel like this will probably be the last year of them selling. I feel like if they can get some young arms for some control, they'll probably be pretty solid. So, hopefully the A's have a better future than what they look like right now, because right now their pitching needs a lot of help. So the LA Angels have been really bad this season. Far and away, probably the worst team in the AL outside of the Royals. Hasn't really been particularly close. If you look at the team, it's just mediocre all around. You have Mike Trout, you have Zach Neto, Jose Soriano, and that's kind of it. Reed Detmers, you really don't need to know anyone else. Logan O'Hoppe has had a big fall off. Oswald Peraza being your third best hitter probably is a big problem. Joe Adell hasn't had a good season, although he did have that 3 robbed home run game in Seattle earlier this season. That was pretty electric. Team just hasn't been good. Pitching wise, Jose Soriano had a great first 5 starts of the season and then has just kind of slowly tailed off from there. Reed Detmers has been pretty good. Bullpen has been atrocious. Jordan Romano has not been good, although Chase Slythe seems to have been good. Same with Backman. Yates barely has played this season. All in all, team just isn't good. Probably what you were expecting out of the Angels this season. Yeah, just not a good team. And hopefully they sell at the deadline for their own sake, because I'm sure their fan bases are probably ready to dethrone Artie Moreno. So hopefully for their sake, they sell at the deadline. All right, well, with that being said, that'll be my review of the AL going out of the All-Star break and into the trade deadline. If you did enjoy, please subscribe. Please like the video. Hopefully there will be a lot more videos coming out, and hopefully it won't be a prolonged break like the last one. I plan to have a few more things done and a few more videos that'll come out. So yeah, hopefully y'all enjoyed this video, and stay tuned for the NL. Alright, I need like